A note: following advice from work-life imbalance may lead to action being taken by HR, your family, the authorities, or higher powers.
Welcome to Work-Life Imbalance, an advice show focusing on workplace and lifestyle issues. Any resemblance to actual advice, living or dead, or actual wisdom is purely coincidental. I'm your monstrous manager, Frank Eastman.
And I'm your lovable office companion, Derek Lewis.
Our weekly agenda includes addressing some audience questions and taking on a few issues from the internet. But first, time for the daily stand-up, Derek.
Are you ready to get wet and wild, Frank?
I am ready to get lit.
That's good. It's good that one of us is. That's...
Well, I can...
You know what? I realized that was weird energy to begin with, and a little bit misleading because I got you amped up, and I ended up being less amped up.
Yeah, it was very much like the opening bars to the Space Jam song, but then you just like petered it out.
Instead of ramping up with a dun dun dun, it just didn't go anywhere. But that's fine. That's the energy we're bringing today, and we are enough, Frank. We have to remember that.
We are always enough.
What do you got for us, Frank?
So today I was going to talk about something that I haven't had the opportunity to talk about before now.
That means it's not your fucking house again. Thank God, because I was starting to worry if this was a fucking Bob Vila podcast about Frank's old fucking house.
Tonight on This Old House.
Why does it sound so nefarious?
Oh my God, the tub is backed up. Dum dum, not again.
Jesus Christ. The house has grown legs. It's eating people.
All this time, it was Baba Yaga's hut.
This old god's house. It's
indirectly
Cthulhian monsters. Mm-hmm.
It's about my house because Derek,
sorry. Continue.
We can talk about something else, Derek.
I'm just being dramatic. Just go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I can finally talk about the fact that I am fucking off to another state entirely.
Huzzah!
So
sort of huzzah.
Yeah.
It's not huzzah because you're leaving me. It's because you're escaping the whatever centripetal force or gravitational pull this horrible area has. Not that Birmingham is bad, but there's a lot of other things around it.
I love Birmingham. I really do. Like, I've lived here for over a decade, and on the whole, it's a good city that does the things that I need from a city.
Right.
The thing I most enjoy is getting out from under the house, knock on particle board or whatever this desk is made of. The house is currently under contract, which means I haven't closed on it yet. By the time this gets released, I should be physically in Seattle, Washington, and no longer a homeowner, and thus unbearably free.
And I mean, in another degree of freedom. I mean, we talked about some of those. Was it Seattle or Portland that had the Naked Bike Ride Festival?
Oh, it's Seattle. Why do you think I'm moving there, Derek?
That's right. You are right on time. I may have to go back to the episodes and check the dates, but you probably are pretty close to the Naked Bike Ride Festival, and
I'm trying my best to make it up there in time, Derek. I've got my body paint
That's why
ready.
You're hurrying.
I'm going to paint myself entirely green, and I'm going to do like a whole Shrek thing.
I was about to ask if you were intentionally going for Shrek or accidentally going for the Shrek thing.
I mean, with me, it's like if I go for Hulk, I get Shrek. That's
well, I was saying maybe you go like a different direction altogether, like a mauve or something. Goes the mauve marauder, or you could do a blue, but then you just be like, you ate all the other blue men in the blue men group.
The worst possible blue man group, just the blue man.
You're all about dress for the job you want, not the job you have, and you really want to be in the blue man group.
I'm thinking like a slick, shiny neon pink. It's still got that wet look even after it's dried.
Oh, it's like the spiritual embodiment of like evil Pepto-Bismol.
Just a wadded up piece of bubblegum wandering through the streets.
I mean, it's not the worst thing you would see at that festival, so
probably not. But yeah, I'm gonna be picking up and moving off to Seattle. The other part of it is that I am going to be, by the time this airs, jobless.
Once again. Once again.
Yeah, that seems to happen with an alarming frequency. But then again, project management is always a dicey proposition, Derek.
Sure. We talked about it before, that project managers are always the one to get blamed and the first one to get axed when something goes tits up.
This time, though, I'm leaving the job, and I realize that this is the first time I've left a job of my own volition.
Like, full stop. Like, the first time you've ever voluntarily left.
Period. Yeah, that's a sad truth about my career. I mean, it's not a shining endorsement, I suppose. It's like, up until this point, I've always gotten laid off.
How many jobs do you think that would be if you had to, like, give a ballpark estimate?
6.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I know of essentially 2 where you were laid off, so, like, I can see that. You know, it's not terrible. I'd say it's probably above average as far as getting let go from jobs, but
in this instance, it's just kind of, it's a weird feeling, and it's also a freeing feeling, Derek.
I mean, I can't imagine that you haven't like exercised it more frequently, because one of the hardest parts for me leaving is the sad faces of the people that I'm leaving behind, the people that you leave in the lurch in case you didn't leave a note about something or some process that only you knew about. There's a lot of things that leaving creates negative situations for the people you leave behind. That really seemed like your jam. Like, that seems like something you would just like, that's a good Friday night for you.
I'm not going to say it's not got its attractive qualities.
It's got a certain something that attracts you.
I mean, it is interesting that, I have said the thing. It is now general knowledge. People are coming to me and saying, it's been good to work with you. And I've been like, you're a dirty liar, and that's why I like you.
Oh, always kissing ass, and that's why you were my favorite.
You have a kind face. It's like, don't worry, I understand. There will be a going away party after I've gone away.
Right. Yeah, the timing of the going away party definitely tells you a lot about the person that is leaving. Like, if the party is before they've left, and it was, I'm trying to think. So when is the best time, if you really are truly going to miss somebody, when is the best time to have the party?
It's got to be a couple of days before the last day.
Yeah,
because they're not showing up that last day.
Right. That's almost like verbatim what I was going to say. Like that, I think that is a couple of days before. and then after that, let them kind of coast into oblivion. Having it the first day after they announce it, or the day after they've left, both I think is more of a celebration of their leaving.
Yeah, that's kind of a bad look.
Yeah, not. I mean, maybe it's the message you want to give, but not typically if you want to like make them feel good about their time there. But okay, so let me ask, how did you find the notification process of notifying of those last 2 weeks? How did you find it, Frank?
It was bittersweet because when I went to have the conversation, I did get played a little.
Okay.
Because I said, hey, here's the deal. I've got to leave in 2 weeks to go to another state.
Mm-hmm. Ironclad so far.
That means I'm not going to be here, where this job is. And the response was, hey, would you consider working remote for some amount of time? And I said, well, I'm not leaving for another position, so that'd probably be fine with me. And then the next day they were like, actually, we've given it some thought. And I was like, fuck. I got judo thrown.
Right.
I put in my 2 week and they laid me off.
So really, you're still at some level still always been laid off. But no, that is I would say that your description of it being a judo move is perfect, because you go in to crush their dreams and they respond with something that gives you a little bit of, not necessarily hope, like that's not really what you're going in there to find, but gives you a little bit of like, oh, well, that's something to look forward to. And then the next day they crush your dreams. Like
it was pretty good. I did do a slow clap when I got that email. I was like, well done. Well played. That was delicious. I would have applauded had it been me doing it to me. So well done.
I will say, you did, like, if you hadn't have wanted to, possibly do the remote work thing, you did kind of leave yourself with an awkward opening, with that of, essentially saying, well, I'm leaving because I have to physically be somewhere else. I mean, it's kind of like saying, like, I can't go to the party because it's across town, and they're like, oh, well, we'll move the party. It's like, well, fuck, I said it was because of that, but it's really because I didn't want to go. Like, you solved the problem I told you, but it wasn't the real problem.
I didn't. So I would have not led with, hey, I'm not going to be here, if, like, I wasn't going to lead with something that wasn't the truth, where they would, had they come back and said, hey, are you willing to work remote? My answer being, no, actually.
No.
At the same time, knowing that it's coming, see, every other time, it's kind of just been, getting blindsided.
Sure.
Because that's how getting laid off works, is you're at work, and then you're not anymore.
Right. You're still physically on the premises, but you're not at work.
And this time, I'm getting to work out like a 2 week notice. I know that I'm going to be leaving. But at the same time, everybody is like already starting to take me out of things.
Uh-huh.
And like even today, and I've still got a week left in my 2 week notice. Okay. I showed up to a meeting and everybody was like, oh, hey. It's like, yeah, I'm still here, guys.
like, oh,
fuck me.
body's not even cold. The plug has not even officially been pulled, and you're already, I don't know. I mean, building a house on top of the dead body, like.
But people are having conversations about things that I would have been included in had I not, been dead man walking. Where they're just like, oh, this and this and this, and I'm like, I didn't hear about that. Oh, wait, I guess there was no point in involving me since I'm not going to be here after next week.
It's like, I guess
it's a very ghostly
matter.
Sort of feeling. Like,
I can see that.
I'm just kind of like drifting through,
observing. You can't necessarily like touch anything, affect anything. I'm sorry. The mental image I got was you like Patrick Swayzing somebody in like a fucking project planning meeting.
Unchained like, melody playing.
Yeah, just come up behind him. It's like, no, you put the story points over here.
I can almost hear his voice. He's saying to double the estimate and add 5. Frank, God. If you're here with us, make some sound. It's almost like I can hear him tapping on the table.
I can hear his disappointed sigh. Oh, well, enjoy your last week of ghostly adventures and leave behind a legacy worth leaving.
Want to get to an audience question, Dirk?
Oh, let's do that. Oh, I really want like some, I don't know. I'm not good at Photoshop or photo or video editing, but I really want like some rendition of you being ghostly Frank, Patrick Swayzing somebody else.
The thing is, I'm so big that if I did that, it would just be like them disappearing into me.
It's kind of like Ghostbusters when somebody like passed through Slimer and they just got like some ectoplasmic goo on them. Ugh. All right. Question from the audience.
Hey boys, I work in an office with a few other people, and the work we do requires us to go from each other's desks many times throughout the day to hand off paperwork. Normally, we make this easier by rolling in our chairs from desk to desk.
Like you do.
Recently, the floors in the office were redone, and the hardwood flooring was replaced by shaggy carpet. It's nice carpet, but the problem is that we still try to roll across the floor to each other's desks and our chairs keep tipping over. I desperately need some ideas on how to fix this, as there is no chance we will do the smart thing and just walk from desk to desk. It's 2019. Walking is so pedestrian. Please help. Falling and Foley. Oh, man.
I'm not sure I have related to any listener question more than this one, because that speaks to me on such a deep level of like, we could fix this problem by exerting ourselves more, but we'd rather come up with some way to let us still be lazy and not fall over. It speaks to me so much.
It's the principle of the thing. Like, I'm kind of in the let's go off-roading camp. I say, what you need to do is just reach under the side of your chair there, pull the lever, lower it all the way down. Get that center of gravity good and low so that you're not likely to tip over.
Right.
And then you just have to crab crawl it. No more pushing off and just sliding. You're gonna have to truck it. You're gonna have to point yourself straight forward. It's a massive workout for the quads,
right?
But
you didn't get
glute action, but you didn't get up, and that's the principle of the thing,
right? So I'm going to bounce off of what you said, because it's a great start. Like the low gravity, the better poised posture for aerodynamics and low center of gravity and not tipping over, all very good points. But you said something more important in there. You said off-roading, which immediately made me think monster truck tires on the office chairs.
Oh, I like this a lot.
Like, you inadvertently came up with the perfect solution. Because all you have to do is outfit all the office chairs with not like true, like 4-foot monster truck tires, but just the equivalent, maybe some longboard off-road tires, wheels, something like that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're able to just roll right over that shag carpet like it's nothing. Wow.
Derek, I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing it so clearly that I think there needs to be an off-road office chair race.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to kill the funny. My mind is swimming with possibilities here, and not the least of which is trying to figure out a portmanteau, and it's almost there. Like off-road office, like we're almost there, but we're gonna put a pin in that. Whereabouts could this happen? Like, would you want like excessive hills, or like just a wooded area with very few hills? Like, what's the perfect? If we're going off-road with this thing, how?
I mean, it's gonna have to. I think it's gonna have to be like a bike track, but tamped down. If like if the bike track is 10, we needed it like a 3.
Right.
So low hills, things that if you decided to actually get up and walk, wouldn't even wind you.
Right. But more just like step over like from one side to the other instead of actually like walking over the hill. You're literally stepping over the hill.
But in an office chair, you're going to break a sweat. But I think there's going to have to be, we're going to have a big one. And that'll introduce some amount of strategy, because people are going to get to that hill and the real players are going to know you begin propelling from the back, backing up the hill so that you can get some good push off those legs.
Get that torque. Get some good, like, quad torque.
But then on the other side of that hill, there's the slalom.
Oh, no.
And a jump.
I was so hoping that we would work in a jump here.
I mean, there has to be a jump.
I mean, and coming from that one big hill, they're going to be getting some serious speed at the bottom of this thing.
We're going to get some air. It's all going to come down to who is able to actually successfully land an office chair after grabbing big air. So my question is, obviously we're going to have the first few years of this event, it's going to be a bloodbath. Like, that hill is going to claim so many lives. But then it's going to become kind of rote. Like, people are going to ace that thing after, like, maybe, I'd say probably year 5. We're stabilizing and we're gaining more than we're losing as far as participants. And they've gained a mastery of that hill. Now, at that point, when do we start, like, gaining or granting bonus points based on the tricks that they do over that hill or, on that jump? I mean, eventually, yeah, the first generation, there's going to be some broken bones. There's going to be some problems. It's going to be difficult. But I think the first trick that someone's going to do is that they're going to have the presence that when they're in the air after that big jump, they're going to reach down and they're going to spin that caster.
Oh, so, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of reach down, kind of like a skateboard grab, but then they just kind of spin that caster underneath them.
Yep.
Oh.
We'll probably call it something cool like the helo.
The caster flip or something.
They'll talk about the number of revolutions that he got. Like,
Yeah, and the first time it happens, like, he's going to be lucky, he or she is going to be lucky to get like a 540. Like, a 540 caster spin is the most you're going to see for a couple of years. But then you're going to have some, like, fresh out of college hotshot that grew up on, the off-road office games, and he's going to come in and like first race of his competition career, he's going to bust out the 900 caster spin. And that's going to force those old guys and gals, the ones that have been in the game since day one, going to force them to evolve. And then we're going to see who excels and evolves into that next stage of a professional and who falls into obscurity.
Wearing your tie around your head like a headband is so last generation, Rick.
That's no longer proper off-road office race attire. See, I am so excited for this that I honestly I think that once you go that far to have the off-road office race, then I think you can easily expand that into some sort of like just general office X Games. You could easily get one of those chairs into the vert ramp. Like, I don't mean to be too, what's the word?
Oh, shit. Now I've lost it. Appropriation.
Like, I don't want to appropriate some things that already exist from like the X Games. Well, I clearly am and do intend that. But like, just as like, the first step, like take it to the vert ramp and then figure out, what the next evolution, what that office chair evolution of the vert ramp looks like. I think it could be exciting. I think it'd be terrifying.
I think the office games are going to have some slower paced games.
Like what? We're ramping it up to like the adrenaline up to 11. Like, what could we possibly put in there that would be challenging but still entertaining without being so high adrenaline?
Cubicle curling.
Oh. So my question is, what are you pushing? Are you pushing my... Can I offer my suggestion?
Please.
You push somebody in the chair.
That's definitely where I was going, yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad we're on the same page. And so, okay... Does the person in the chair get a broom, or are they totally dependent on other people also in chairs trying to brush in front of them?
I think the bylaws are going to state they're going to have to keep all limbs inside the cart at all times. I think they can't touch any part of them touches the ground in any way to restabilize themselves. That's disqualification.
That's exactly right, because one of the more difficult things about that is that you're going to have to maintain, perfect center of balance. Like, you're going to have to make sure that at those speeds, even over like the bumpy ice that hasn't been properly graded or whatnot, you're going to have to make sure you don't fall over. And if you had a broom, it'd be too easy. So
yeah. Well, I figure we're rolling across low pile office carpet. And instead of brooms, the other people on the team,
they have vacuum cleaners.
They have those little vacuum cleaners.
Oh my God.
The little unpowered ones that they use in the restaurant. Just so they're just going to town. They're wailing at that carpet.
Just taking that shag to fucking town. Oh my God.
Got to get the lint off the pile, man. One piece of lint.
Wow. Because, one errant piece of lint, and that could kill the whole run. I don't envy the amount of work that it would take to become a professional office chair curler. But, boy, it's a sight to behold.
We're going to have, you're going to need very small people to be the stone, essentially, because that way they can curl up on the office chair. For instance, I'm a big man. I don't think I could curl up successfully on the office chair without like overbalancing and tipping out.
Right. And plus, just the inertia that you would have, because you have to get up to a certain speed before they release you, and I feel that your inertia would be pretty insurmountable. I don't think there's any amount of shag carpet that's going to slow Frank Eastman down.
Although I think you probably can knock the other team's share out of the scoring circle. So maybe sometimes it's worthwhile to have that weightier player so that you can slide them in and just absolutely wreck.
Yeah, kind of like marbles, where you sometimes need that big one to just go in and lay waste. And so that's another very important strategic point. Now, I will say, we could also combine this in a variant of it and also give them, I don't know, maybe some sort of jousting pole or some sort of like office-themed jousting pole. And basically, not only are you curling, but as you approach the incumbent curling chair, you then try to joust them out of it.
I like this, but I think this is an entirely separate event, Derek.
Okay.
It's an entirely separate event. It's the office chair joust. We got to set up the lists. There's going to be one person in the chair, and then they're going to, they're going to have a pusher, and then the jousting sticks have to be made of giant interconnected highlighters.
Highlighters or Sharpies. I think we could allow both. I think
stuck end to end, and they've got to be still together.
No. You're right. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like, I don't know, some sort of like enormous like expo marker, like a 3 or 4 foot long expo marker. But no, you're saying actually like a 3 to 4 foot stick of expo markers all hooked together.
Exactly.
That would require so much more skill.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a game of skill because you have to. It's not knocking the other person out of their seat. It's being able to mark them.
And instead of shields, they have little dry erase boards.
Yep.
Oh, now okay. So at first we were talking some sort of like off-road or X Games, and then we moved to like Olympics, and now we're kind of back towards like some sort of what's the word?
The office games defy expectations, Derek.
That is true. We don't have to restrict them to any one thing. But
they draw from a rich heritage of sports and competition. Competition is in our blood.
I don't think that's true, but I'm not going to burst your bubble. I'm willing to ride or die on this one. So we'll
runs thick like the correction fluid.
So I think we went off on a tangent so fast on that one that we didn't even circle back around. But no, honestly, I think it's because we got the answer too soon. Off-road tires, or turn your entire office into the office games.
It's off-road tires, and then they're at this point they're going to be set up. Their off-season starts now.
Oh. That's exactly right. So
they're training.
I can't let you answer first anymore, Frank. I have to be the first one to answer these things because mine are always wrong, and yours have been too accurate. And I think we went to some good places.
I'm sorry, Derek,
but you got to goof on my bad answers first before you give your good answers.
Well, let's try with an issue from the internet.
That sounds good. All right, this one is entitled, Manager is Asking Future Employee to Do Work Before Start Date by Capex. A friend of mine is starting a new job in a few weeks. The contract is already signed. The manager just sent her an email in the morning asking her to do some work the next day. She currently has another job, and the manager knows this. It looks like a lot of work. It will take at least several hours, maybe even a whole day. She doesn't want to start on bad terms by rejecting the request. On the other hand, she won't get paid for this and would need to work the whole night or the whole weekend if she asks for more time. How should one react in such a situation?
I'll allow you to go first, Derek.
That's good. Now, are we asking what should they do or what I would do? I'll start with what I would do. I would be a pushover, and I would do the work because I hate disappointing people, which is surprising, seeing as that we put this podcast on the internet, which you would think that that's what I was after, is disappointing people.
That's all we do. We disappoint people day after day. Most of all, our parents and loved ones.
I love seeing that listener count go up and all those downloads, and know how many disappointed people there have been in the world and how many lives we've touched. But we're not talking about me here. So I think what they should do is, I think they should hire somebody else to do the work for them. Now, it really depends on the line of work. If this is something that's very highly technical, it may not work out so well. But if it's something that's kind of busy work that would just take like maybe some proofreading or something like that, do you have an intelligent, I don't know, a niece or a younger cousin or a younger sibling?
I think the person who would best know how to do this work, you're going to have to respond with, yes, I can get this done. And then you're going to have to mail your new manager saying, hey, would you like to take a short-term contract gig?
So you convince them that they are being contracted to do work, and really it is being worked for you.
And then you bill it back to the company.
My only concern here, I think the financials will work out perfectly. I think you'll be fine, with the exception of, do we think that the boss probably doesn't know what work they were asking the person to do enough to like recognize if it was being handed to them? As I was saying it, I realized that it is perfectly feasible that a boss would not know what they asked their subordinate to do.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
So you have outsourced this to your future boss, and it also gives you a good power play, because it also gives you the ability to see how good your boss is at your job. And, if he just blows it out of the water and really surpasses your expectations, then, you know that you can respect them, and they may be a little bit of a hard ass, a little bit, their expectations may be too high for you, but you know that you can respect them. However, if they're crap, then you know that you hold all the power and they are merely a pawn that you can eventually, somehow manipulate. Is that, am I doing this evil corporate thing right? Manipulate?
You are, Derek. Manipulation is the key.
Okay, good. All right, so we played in the space of my terrible answer. What is your terrible answer? Or your good answer?
My terrible answer is fuck off.
Once again, Frank Eastman with the wisdom. Because
this is a test. This is a test in the same way that the two-headed door knocker in Labyrinth was a test. You have to answer this riddle successfully. And there are only two allowable answers. The first answer is no.
Right.
The second answer is yes, and it's going to take me 2 weeks and 8 hours to do.
Precisely. And very conveniently, might I add, past your start date and over the first day of your employment.
Yeah.
So either one of those answers, one shows forethought of, essentially 2 weeks and 8 hours. That answer shows forethought because you know how long it's going to be, and you know that your time is worth it. So you've planned ahead properly, and you're sticking to your guns on that. But the no shows that you have a backbone. And does that seem like a positive trait, though? A lower employee having a backbone?
I mean, it's not premium. It's not premium. You're looking... What they're doing here, they're looking for someone that they can take advantage of.
Right.
Like you.
You mean a rube? Yes.
A sucker. There's one born every minute.
My middle name is literally Rube. Derek Rube Lewis.
In this situation, my honest answer would be I would already start looking for another job. Like, I would be shopping my resume around before the start date of this new job because they are opening up with, hey, we are going to fuck you over at every possible turn.
That at least you can appreciate the honesty. Like, they're not even sugarcoating it. They're like, not only are you going to be working more overtime than we are willing to pay you, but we're going to just, before you start work, have you start working for free. Like, that is the, like you said, definitely one of the biggest red flags possible. But they're not lying about it. They are being completely upfront, which I can respect. I mean, and you can keep the job until one of the other people that you have given your resume to responds, in which then you quit that job and start working the other job.
Yeah, and when they ask, like, when you give notice, I think your notice should consist only of forwarding that initial message. Asking for free work 2 weeks before your start date.
So if this is a small company, I think, I think that it's kind of indicative that this person has had free reign to do too much for too long. They've gotten away with a lot. So it's going to be hard to like come into like a family business or a small business where this guy's a hot shot and really just like put the smackdown on him or otherwise cut the legs off from under him. Now, if this is a big company, what you can do is you can take that email that you received and forward it to HR before you even start. And either you will get summarily dismissed and your offer rescinded, or an apology, a promotion, and 2 extra weeks off per year because of the stress that you had to endure. And either way, it's a win.
Yeah, you're going to get a pony, and look at the rabbits, George. Let's go to an audience question.
Let's do that.
A senior dev on my team fucked off playing phone games all day the other day, completely neglecting a bunch of code reviews that came in. Since he didn't even look at them until the next day, we ended up being late. Do I call him out for blatantly just feet up assing off so hard that it screwed up several other people's week? Nobody else has said anything, and I'm the most junior person on the team. Peed off in Peabody.
My old nemesis, confrontation.
We meet again, or not, as the case may be.
Or I've avoided you, or I will avoid you once again. I mean, certainly this cannot stand. Like, this is not a workable situation because, however many people, let's say there's 5 developers and this guy's one of them. 4 people are doing the work of 5 people, and that simply cannot stand. So either the work will always be late, or everyone will always have to work an extra 25%, which nobody's getting paid to do, I'm sure. Unless, can you get this guy to cut you in on his? Like,
I'm liking it.
Work it out to where, I think he understands that he is gaming the system, literally and figuratively. He should know that he doesn't deserve his full salary. So honestly, if you could just shave, 25% off of his salary and add it to yours, essentially you're getting that, full-time exempt, but with overtime.
Yeah. I'm liking that one because then you just do all the code reviews.
That is a secondary benefit to what I said. Yes. Okay. So do you impersonate him for the 25% of the time that you are working for his money? I think the clear answer is yes.
Yeah, or you just have writing as in there as your byline, just
right.
You sort of outwardly assume, but in a way that everybody knows. You know how the secretary can sometimes send email on behalf of the CEO?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you just do that. All code reviews are, John on behalf of Caleb.
So that's not a bad idea, but I will posit that leaves a paper trail that doesn't look good. But
well, it's fine if everybody's doing it, Derek.
That is true. If everybody is taking part in this, then nobody is at fault here. But I will say, I think I have a solution here. So we're in the modern age. You can do flex time. So you work 40 hours Monday through Friday. You get in all your time, or excuse me, Monday through Thursday. Pardon me. You get in all your time Monday through Thursday. So 10 hours a day. Do your full work, get it in, and then you convince what's his name to not come in that day, and you dress up as them and impersonate them all day. Now,
I like it.
You're getting more money. You are I guess
getting to work on your character voices.
Getting to work on your character voices. Makeup skills, definitely. It depends on like if the person you're impersonating is female, you could definitely work on gender transformation makeup for your special effects. Those are really hard. And contour. You could also have a little bit of fun with it. So, working an extra 10 hours, that sounds like fun to me. No, it doesn't. That's a lie. But you can also, while you're impersonating him, if you are convincing enough, you can start, I don't know, playing some pranks around the office, or kicking the door into meetings, and getting this guy a little bit of a bad rap.
I love that. Yeah.
But so I guess my only flaw with my own plan is to what end? Because you don't want to do it too severely, or else the guy will just get fired and your extra 25% of salary is your golden goose is gone.
I think what you do is you sort of low key it, and you just open up a lot of questions that people have asked you, and you tell them, I'll answer on Monday.
Oh, this is nefarious, but wonderful, because they're going to have so many things. People are going to be coming up and asking them. More so than the amount of apathy they had before and lack of attention they paid their job before. But maybe they won't know which one it is, whether it's you impersonating this person has set up this return question on Monday, or if they did it earlier in the week and just didn't know.
They might have played Phone Quest so hard that they had completely forgotten about it, and they might realize, I have a problem. I have phone quested so hard, I've obviously started forgetting questions that people have asked me. It's time for an intervention. I'm gonna have to go to rehab.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. But then once again, our golden goose is gone. Or
then you get promoted to head dev.
Exactly. Then you take over impersonating them full time until they're out of video game rehab. Now, you will have to have somebody else impersonate you because you still want to get your own salary.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is how this works. When the work gets to be too much, you have assumed 25% of the person above you. When the work gets to be too much, you have to find someone who is then going to accept 25% of your work.
Right.
And if you find enough people underneath you who are paying up eventually, you won't actually have to do any work. Because you'll have people doing all of your work below you. And then when the work gets to be too much for them, they can find other people beneath them to take on their... I think this is a foolproof plan, Derek.
I think what you have described is corporate multi-level marketing, pyramid scheme, but in the office. Like, not just sold by people in the office, but literally the work being done is pyramid schemed into oblivion.
Pyramid scheme is such a pejorative term, Derek.
Well, I only say pyramid scheme because multi-level marketing doesn't necessarily work so well. Multi-level
work share,
productivity,
everything is share these days. This is
multi-level work share.
Yeah, it's the next Uber. It's the next Airbnb, man. We're gonna enable this with an app.
I mean, so okay. Well, let's abstract that even further. Instead of it being a multi-level work share, which I think is a good option, you could then make it basically you can gig out your entire workload.
Yeah.
You basically have to, whenever, you get to work, it's like, oh crap, well, I got 4 spreadsheets to make. Just go on to, we'll come with a name later.
We need to think of a name for this.
Gotta have a good name.
Hustler with an R?
No, that's a different application.
Oh, that's something else altogether. Yeah, that's right.
some altogether. Delegator. With no
Delegator.
Final E.
Oh, Delegator. Yeah, I love that. Oh, that is fucking money.
So you get on Delegator.
That is so delish.
And you post that you need these spreadsheets done. And people from around the community or whatnot can hop on and can complete those spreadsheets for you. You turn them in, and you just keep doing that over and over. And then before you know it, it's 5:00. Your work is complete. You didn't do much, but the work is complete.
Unfortunately, DerekDelegator.com has been taken.
Oh, even without the missing E. Oh, fuck.
We got the .org, the .net.
I think we could rock the .org. This definitely is something that could work on a .org. Oh. This is now if I could have done this with my college studies, A, I would have failed. B, that's called cheating. See, that would have been great. I would have been so
It's
much
not
more
cheating.
sane.
It's the gig economy, Derek.
That's the thing. Knowledge is distributed now. Why have knowledge in your own head when you have 30 to 40 people ready to field all that for you?
Exactly. It's like using simple tools. Is it cheating to use a lever, Derek?
Clearly not. Not
Is
at
it
all.
cheating to use hundreds of underpaid people to move giant bricks into position to build your golden pyramid to yourself? Of course not.
Yes. I believe that is slavery or indentured servitude or underpaid labor.
If they sign up for it themselves, Derek, they're just contractors.
They are all independent contractors.
1099 MISC. It's fine. We've got no exposure, my man.
So could we? Do you think the Delegator app could work for podcasting? Asking for a friend. All right. Want to get to an issue from the internet?
Let's do it.
Fucking Delegator. Oh. All right. This
I do kind
issue
of want to
isn't.
get delegator.net. I'm like seriously thinking about it.
The
The problem is I have so many domain, like I'm going to have hundreds of dollars a year in domain fees for all the
Right.
domains I get.
Next
because
year's
of this
gonna be horrible.
fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
Next
why do
year's
I
gonna
have
be rough for you.
$500 worth of fees from? Oh, okay. All of those,
All
all those domain names I registered.
all the different variations of crime unit based on topics in our podcast.
Somebody has thelaptopler.com, Derek.
No.
And it's me.
See? You broke me down, then you built me right back up. Oh.
Let's get to an issue from the internet.
All right. This one is entitled Roommate Constantly Breaking into Song and Whistling by Numgum. Hey guys, one of my friends, it's almost like they're writing it to us. I know they're not, but it's almost like they did. So I'm going to pretend like they put it on the internet specifically for us to find.
That's how I usually get most of my human interaction, Derek, is pretending.
Kind of Mary suing yourself into all forms of media you find on the internet. Hey guys, one of my friends ended up moving in with me about 4 months ago. We were never really close and have always kept our conversations to pleasantries and small talk. We didn't get closer when he moved in, and our relationship pretty much stayed the same. Overall, he's a decent roommate, but oh my God, the singing and the whistling. At first, when he just moved in, it wasn't that bad. Not sure if he's just gotten comfortable over time, but now he breaks into loud singing and whistling constantly throughout the day. Cooking? Can't do that without whistling. Showering? Let me provide you with an unsolicited a cappella. Getting out of his car in the driveway? I can already hear him doing a solo duet of a singer and whistler combo. And I'm somebody who loves the quiet. I'm not an antisocial person and enjoy having conversations about anything. I just can't stand the singing and whistling, though. He's just got a new stereo system that he set up in the living room, too, which I think will only make matters worse in the future. Because of our relationship, I don't have the heart to be abrupt with him. I'm too polite of a guy to say anything in this situation and don't really know how to approach this. Also not sure if I have the right to do anything about it, as I feel like I might be overreacting.
Do you find an unusual number of small, cute woodland creatures infesting your home?
Are you insinuating what I think you're insinuating, Frank?
I believe that this person has accidentally gotten a Disney prince
For a roommate.
as their roommate. It's 2019, Derek. and it's time for the Disney prince.
I agree with that.
For too long have the princesses maintained a monopoly on singing and having forest creatures that come to do their bidding.
You're right. Like the thing is, most of the male people or heroes, anti-heroes, villains, whomever in Disney Disney movies, instead of having animals do their work, they normally have people. They normally have lackeys or servants or something. And, frankly, that's played out. That's, we're not about, I'm not about, turning human suffering into some sort of cost benefit analysis. I know, Frank, that's most of what you do, but,
I'm putting it aside right now, Derek. I'm putting it aside for this Disney cinnamon roll.
Disney cinnamon roll?
We have to nurture them, Derek. They're too sweet for this world.
Well, how much, what density of woodland creatures, not like, how dense rabbits can you do, but like how many woodland creatures are acceptable in a house like this?
You've got to set ground rules early on. If it reaches infestation level, if every time you open a door, there's an entire family of chipmunks waiting to watch you use the restroom.
Oh, God.
That's a bit much.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is some common sense ground rules, and I think it's dependent on how many rooms you have in the apartment. If it's like a studio apartment, I think anything beyond like a rabbit, a chipmunk, and maybe some sort of bird, any more than that, and you're in trouble because just a single deer would be way too much. So
this is an apartment we're talking about. We have to be reasonable. Deer too much. I think you can trade in like one raccoon. You could get 5 to 6 dormice.
That's true.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think you're being conservative. I think you could go up to 10 dormice for a single raccoon.
Then you're getting into chariot pulling territory.
I'm not saying we can't do that. That's perfectly feasible.
The problem I'm seeing here.
Sorry, I don't mean to derail. Put a pin in your thought. I just want to discuss or point out that we are talking about the animal exchange rate, and I don't think we explored it enough. I think 10 dormouse to a raccoon is a good place to start. If you wanted to trade up to a deer, what are you going to have to trade in to get that? Like, obviously, we've already nixed the studio apartment. Let's say it's a 2-bedroom apartment. You have your own living space. How many raccoons would you have to trade in order to get that deer?
Derek, I can get you into a deer today for the low price of 3 raccoons and a seagull.
Wow. So that doesn't seem too hard. That is an attainable goal. And that's important. Like, you have to have achievable goals. And I will say it'll be a little bit difficult if you don't live in some sort of like beach town or somewhere near a body of water, because seagulls normally don't come out into landlocked areas. But if you can coax one out there, okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Do you have to attract the animals purely with your princedom, or can you somehow capture them elsewhere and bring them home?
Oh no, the all capturing immediately casts you into the villain role. They have to be purely attracted by your inner beauty and grace, even if
your
you
splendor
yourself cannot recognize it. If you feel like the dirty scullery, what is the male maid?
I don't know.
Footman?
Footman? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you feel like the dirty scullery footman, But the mice, they see through to the purity inside. If we've got a beach house, I'm also going to say that we can trade 1-for-1 the dormice for hermit crab.
That's a pretty good trade, I think.
If they come with an accent, you're going to have to move up to the raccoon.
So let me as a quick aside, I know we are already on a tangent, but I'm going to take a tangent from that tangent. And have you seen what's under them hermit crab shells? Have you seen them?
No, I haven't.
I want you to Google that. I want you to Google. This is a listener exercise now. I want everybody who's listening to Google hermit crab without shell. And I want you to brace yourself. Because if you are any degree of an arachnophobe or a sensible human being, it will terrify you.
Wow, that's...
it's pretty bad, ain't it?
Poor little... He looks so naked.
I mean, they're disgusting, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty bad. But that's what people say when they see me without pants too, Derek. I mean, this is...
So, I'm sorry. I did not mean to turn this into some sort of parallel to you, Frank. I'm sorry.
It's rude to be looking at him when he is undressed like this.
I agree, but like I've been on a kick of nature documentaries, and sometimes they don't ask me what if it's okay to see what I'm about to see.
I mean, unsolicited hermit crab pics are they're a problem, and we need to deal with it culturally.
I agree on multiple levels with that.
It starts with other hermit crabs, though.
Are you saying they need to self-police, or?
I mean, I think they just need to make it culturally unacceptable to be sending pictures of themselves without their shell to unsuspecting people.
But then again, we have to be willing to not receive them, to turn them away. Which I'll be the first to say, I wholeheartedly reject unsolicited, shellless hermit crab pictures. It's a bold stand in 2019, but I'll make it.
I like it, Derek. Want to punch the clock?
Yep, our radio program cannot survive 2 tangents off the original, so we better punch the clock. All right, before we go, please send us your questions. Like a Disney prince or princess, we are singing out the window, and we are hoping that our woodland creatures, i.e. our listeners, will scuttle around and sing us their questions. That's a beautiful picture. That's very evocative.
It's really great if they've got like a cute accent.
If you want to record yourself reading the question in your own native funny accent, it can't be something you put on. We'll know. We will know.
Extra points if you're Scottish.
Triple points if you are Scottish. Yeah, send them to questions@wlicast.com. Been holding that in for like 10 minutes, dude. That's
send your questions to blah.
If you want to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/WLIcast and become a patron. Also get some cool swag. I think it's cool swag. Some of our other patrons who have gotten it say it's cool swag, or they're too kind to tell me it's not cool swags. But either way, I still say it's cool swag. You also check out our website, WLIcast.com, where you can find links to our social media, merch store, and at some point, some work-life imbalance related news. And please do us a solid and tell your friends about the show. You'll be instantly more popular with your coworkers or your money back. Or at the very least, we will appreciate that you tried.
This has been the Work-Life Imbalance Podcast. I'm Frank Eastman.
I am the boldly anti-naked hermit crab, Derek Lewis.
And with that, I think we're going to have to transfer you. See, I'm thinking that that last question asker, he doesn't like the singing. You know what that means.
He's the villain?
He's the villain.
It makes so much sense now. Even reading the question, I was like, this guy he's got some darkness. That's all I know. Deep within him.
He's gonna have to change very rapidly, or else he is going to find himself falling off a building to his doom through no fault of the prince's. The prince will have reached out, to be honest, and attempted to save him, but he will at the last moment knock the hand offered away, and in doing so doom himself through his hubris to the plummet.
Now, if you live on the first floor of the apartment complex, it probably won't be very dramatic.
Oh yeah, no, you just kind of fall out the window into the bush.
I mean, tumble into the hydrangeas. It's embarrassing, but
yeah, there's going to be a lot of cussing, and you'll come inside, and you're going to have some grass stains, but other than that, you'll be fine.
They'll still be alive to pay their half the power bill.
Yeah, but they will know that they have been hoisted upon their own petard.
And that's what's really important.